Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of the Shipwrecked series. I am excited to get back into the account and figure out which grind we have next. If you remember from episode 3, this is where we left our chunk map off at after defeating Melzar's Maze and the Crafting Guild in the same exciting episode. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, I do highly recommend going back and watching them before you go any further with this video, because you really just won't have the right context if you haven't seen the previous videos. But that being said, we'll do a very brief overview of the possible chunk rolls, and then we'll get into that chunk roll. The reason we're not going to go into super detail is because we've already gone over what these chunks mean to us multiple times in the different episodes. Chunk 1 and 2 here we could have rolled since the beginning, and chunk number 3 we could have rolled since episode 2, so you guys are kind of familiar with them if you've been following along with the series. So here in the Asgardian Ice Dungeon, we would have a lot of monsters drop tables to complete, and we would have to cast Fire Blast, which would mean acquiring a lot of runes from drops, and there would be a few gear upgrades in here as well. Overall, not a terrible chunk to get. It will probably take a good bit of time to complete if we get it, but there will be some well worth it gear and level upgrades along the way, so don't mind if we get that one too much. Port Sarim, still hoping for this one. As you guys know, I would be able to buy an adamant battle axe from the shop. I would have access to the rune shop. I would also have to cast Fire Blast here. I'd be able to start my fishing journey, which would give me a new food source, and I'd have to bake an anchovy pizza, which requires level 55, but that heals 18 health. So that would be a huge upgrade to our food for whatever combat grinds we do have to get into in the future. And yeah, just all these stores, this would be a huge upgrade for the account, and I'm still hoping to get this one. We'd also be able to finish our first quest once we roll Port Sarim. And number 3, Falador South Wall. Sounds very unassuming, like it's just a south wall chunk, but it actually has some things that would make our life very difficult here. We would have to do a crazy smithing grind because of our anvil that we have access to down here, and our mine that we have access to here, and nature rune drops that are from these hobgoblins and the guards that spawn in this Falador South Wall. And the reason that we haven't had to do that already is because we have not had any monster that drops air runes in these chunks, but there is the air wizard here who drops air runes at a very steady rate, luckily, so if we do get it, we'll at least have a pretty good drop rate to work with. And then there's also earth, fire, and water wizards, which drop the respective runes. But this would be a very long grind and a very tough one, so I'm not really keen on getting it right now. I'd rather have Port Sarim first so that we could just buy runes and we'd have better access to food for all of the combat that is inevitable in all of these grinds. With all that out of the way, there is nothing left to do but smash that chunk button and see what fate has in store for us next.
Come on, Port Sarim.
Wake up. Wake up. It's me, reality. You didn't just dream that. You rolled the death chunk. Why are you laying in bed? You got grinding to do, bro. Yeah, dude, I know. But I just wanted Port Sarim. Would have made this shit a whole lot easier. Well, yeah, of course it would have made it easier. But is that why you started a Chunk Man account? So you could have it easy? Well, no, but I've never done a grind like this before. This could take months. Heck, this could take a year. I don't even know where to start. Yeah, you're right. It's a lot of levels, and it's gonna take a long time. But think back to series like Settlement is Thailand. The reason the master plan is so helpful is that it forces you to break all of your problems down into small ones, and then you'll find sufficient ways to complete all of them, one by one. You owe yourself that at least before giving up. Hey, master's plan, one by one. You might actually be onto something.
So as you just heard, this chunk is pretty intimidating, and it's gonna be a big test for me. Obviously, I knew a tough grind was going to come my way eventually, but when I sat down and started to plan out this series, this wasn't the one I had in mind. While I'm sure there are a lot of people who have done very similar grinds, I think this one is kind of unique. The reason I say that is because I'm not just hunting one single item and praying for good RNG, and I don't just have to get a lot of levels. I kinda have to do both a lot of different times. I'll explain the tough ones soon, but right now we're gonna check off the easy ones because that's all I could think of to do when I first rolled this chunk. As I'm sure you remember from last episode, we were locked off from the northern section of the Crafting Guild chunk because of the end of the chunk being just one tile too short. But now we have access to it, so I grabbed a pair of shears and some wool, and we will spin our first ball of wool for our first crafting XP on the account, and an easy chunk task complete. Haven't come up with a full plan for tackling the bigger tasks. I am brainstorming that while I work on the guard drop table. There isn't much to the drop table, and we take them down pretty easy with our new gear, but still bothering to prayer flick and needing to refill on food. But as you can see, we hit some pretty high numbers now, decently consistent, and there's the steel arrow, so good to mark one of the 3 off the list. We get a cheeky level 38 hit points here, which is nice, and I thought I would backtrack a little bit and talk about the music tracks that we unlocked with this chunk. Since we are just barely able to skirt around this wall now and get into Southern Falador, we unlock 3 new music tracks: Arrival, Fanfare, and Workshop, the last of which is on in the background as we speak. What you know about 38 defense? Probably about as much as you know about 28 prayer. Nothing. Oh, this is an intense battle. We are barely hanging on for dear life here. But I think with prayer flicking, we can get lucky and finish him off. And oh, look at that. The body talisman. I don't know what happened to my clip of getting the iron ore drop from the guard, but I don't have one, and I seem to have reset the loot tracker, so you guys will have to take my word for it that I got it. If you can think of any punishment that I should have for this, go ahead and throw it in the comments. With most of the easy stuff out of the way and some time to brainstorm, it is time to talk about the pain and suffering that this chunk is going to cause me. To find the first factor that triggers this chain of events, you have to go all the way back to the first couple minutes of the series, the rules. I decided to count drops as a form of item sources regardless of their drop rate. What this means for us is that the air runes dropped by the air wizard who lives in our newly unlocked chunk gives us the ability to train magic by casting Airstrike, the level 1 spell. We've had access to almost all of the runes that we could make use of to cast spells up until this point, but they've been completely useless to us because we've had no air runes, so we couldn't get past level 1. The second factor is the unfortunate fact that guards and hobgoblins both have nature runes on their drop table, meaning that we have access to nature runes and fire runes, which means we need to train our magic all the way up to level 55 to cast high-level alchemy. This was already going to be a huge grind on its own, even before taking unfortunate factor number 3 into account. And this is that there is a random pickaxe spawn in Anha and Hengel's house, which means we can make our way up to the Remington mine and get the copper and tin that we need to make bronze bars and start our smithing training. Additionally, to the south of the mine, as you remember from episode 2, there are 2 gold ore spawns, which means we need to superheat a gold bar to complete the smithing requirements for this chunk. And as a side bonus slap in the face, because we can go through the bronze and iron smithing table, that means we can create our first axe. So we will have to get level 60 wood cutting and fire making to cut down and burn the yew trees in our junk. But wait, there's more! Now that we can get around to the northern end of the crafting guild, we can get into the cow pen and kill cows and milk cows, which means we also need level 40 to bake a cake. Wow, Chunk, way to f us over. But that's enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. If you remember from our existential crisis, I talked myself down by realizing that I can break this ridiculous grind down into smaller ones that are more feasible. This plan went through many iterations and changed from a 3 to a 4-step plan somewhere along the way, but here is what I came up with. Step 1 of the plan is to gather 509 mind and air runes to cast our way to level 17 magic. This will unlock the Wind Bolt spell for us, and unfortunately our only source of mind runes is from Anha and Hengel, so we will have to get about another 4,000 kill count on them to get the mind runes needed. Along the way we'll bury every bone we can find, because we want to make it to level 37 prayer so we can use the Protect from Magic overhead prayer. I'm also going to make sure I pick up every rune I see from here on out, because we are going to need a lot of runes. It's tempting to just go over the full plan right now and reveal all the steps to you guys, but I'm not going to do that for 2 reasons. First off, we are almost 13 minutes into this video and it's been mostly me talking and text on the screen. I want to get some action and clips into this video. Secondly, the biggest benefit of telling you guys my plan would be to get some feedback in the comments and maybe some ideas of how I could increase my efficiency for this grind. But unfortunately, this grind is already done and dusted, and so is the chunk. When I first started this account, I was extremely excited and was tempted to put out a video per chunk starting right away, but as soon as I rolled this chunk, while I was editing the first video, I realized this was going to take a very long time, and I wasn't sure how I was going to break it down into videos. So everything you've seen up until now and everything for the next few videos was pre-recorded and not caught up with where I actually am live on this account right now. I imagine sometime in the near future I will hit a grind that will cause this video series to catch up to where I am live, but for now, let's just all smash the like and subscribe button and get down onto the map. We got a pretty nice level coming in as we prayer flick for our life against these hobgoblins. It's really close to this milestone, so I just wanted to get it out of the way before I went down to start working on Anha and Hengel. One more hit, I believe. Yep, there it is. Level 40 strength, and I'll give you a full overview of where the stats are at as soon as we finish this bad boy off. Assuming we don't have to run away because he hits us with another 3. We'll see. But yeah, there they are. 40 attack, strength, and defense. Pretty sweet way to start. The murder spree continues, but not without gains. We are burying some bones here, getting real close to level 30 prayer. I think we just need one more. Maybe 2. Let's grab these and see if this is enough. Man, we're just one slapping them. That's rude. Yeah, there it is. Level 30 prayer and a combat level as well. So, making big strides during this grind. Oh, how the time flies when you're having fun. Here we are burying another set of bones in our iconic setting, the church for 31 prayer. After a good bit of time killing Anha and Hengel, I decided to run over and give the water and air wizard a try, or really all the wizards, but I'm learning quickly that the only 2 that I can handle right now are the water and the air wizard. The earth and the fire wizards hit like a truck, so we are not ready to take them on yet, but this will be a good way to stack some runes. And Anha and Hengel, oh nice, 42 hit points as well, side bonus. Anha and Hengel don't hit me at all, so I'm waiting for my health to regen, and then I'm going to come up here, fight until I'm almost dead, go back down to Anha and Hengel, rinse and repeat. With this next slap, we should get ourselves goal level 45 strength. Pretty sick. As you can see, we're at 285 Hengel kills and 279 Anha kills. Got about 100 mind runes so far. Gonna switch over to attack to get that up to 45. Oh, sweet. Some more earth runes for the collection. They are a 1 and 64 drop rate, so we don't get them too often, unfortunately, from these guys. Oh, nice. This is a clip and a half, isn't it? 2 earth rune drops on back-to-back hills. How cool does that look? And how needed is that for the rune stack? Just finishing up Evil Bob random number 2, I believe. Let's see where this gets us. No, it wasn't a dream, bro. You got fishing XP, and you're level 7. Cool.
What is all that racket? What are you up to over there, Romic? It ain't me, nor I.
Nor I. And Helen Henger, is it you too?
Nah, it's the dude upstairs montaging again.
It's an exciting time to be alive. 508 mind runes acquired and plenty of air runes to spare. Of all the NPCs I can kill, of course Anha and Hengel have the worst defensive penalty, which means we are headed upstairs to participate in Voldemort Simulator. Welcome back to the church I'm trying to make famous for a huge moment for the account. That's right, level 37 prayer as predicted from grinding out magic, which gives us access to protection from magic, ironically. And this is a massive boost for us right now. While this was only step 1 of 4, we had a lot of huge gains along the way, but don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at our total level here. We started the episode at 266 total level and are now at 349, so 83 levels gained. And that includes getting all the way to level 25 magic. The runes that I was hoping would get us to 17 got us well beyond, I think because of Anha and Hengel's really terrible magic defense. But we have tons of new spells that we can use, including these Chaos and Earth and Fire runes. I was cursing and then using either Water Bolt or Wind Bolt, and that was getting me tons of experience and even allowing me to one-shot them near the end of the grind, which was really sick. Even with getting further than expected, we have some decent runes left over, and looking at all of the melee skills is really nice, getting close to 50 strength and then 46 attack and defense. Every level and gear upgrade we made is going to be needed for what comes next in step 2. For now, let's take a look at the playtime on the account. It is sitting at 1 day and 23 hours. We are going to want to take note of that because this is going to go way up before we get out of this chunk. But for now, let's enjoy a small victory, and I will see you all in the next episode.